Welcome one more time, ladies and gentlemen, to Noir Syndrome Case Files number 2. My name is Splattercat, and I'm happy to be your host today as we investigate a murder in the salty, windy town of whatever the hell this town is called. Today, we're going to change our costume. We're going to be a female detective today, and so let's be on our way before we waste any further time. Alright, so first things first, we have to start every single adventure by petting Jasper, because if you're not going to pet the kitty, well, what's the point in living? Let's check our cabinet for $11. Check our bed for anything that might be worthwhile. Unfortunately, our bed remains hard as rock. We didn't use the money from that last case closed to advance our dormitory situation at all. Let's step on out into the night and see what we've got waiting for us. Ruth Clark has been murdered, so the night starts with a death. A blonde bombshell laying in the gutter. We have clues, but we have little to go on. Let's head on over to the old watchtower, a rotting city landmark. There's a crime scene here. Alright, and so it doesn't look like there's anybody present right now, so that means that kind of diminishes our chances to get any suspects. She's fixing her hair instead of a hat because, you know, we don't have a hat anymore. Abstract art, nothing to be found here. I'm going to use a lockpick so that I can go upstairs so that we can hopefully find clues. We've got casual attire indicating that our suspect is either a mobster or a civilian. Sunglasses indicating that our culprit is either a police officer or a mobster. $6 in a barrel. Not necessarily where I keep my money, but people are getting paranoid nowadays, what with the stock market crashing all. Mob ID found, indicating that our culprit is indeed a part of the mob. And that's it. All I see are a bunch of squares. I feel that way every time I go to class. No, I'm just kidding. Oh my god. What a terrible, terrible thing to say. I don't mean it. I take it back. Let's go ahead and go downstairs, and we did pretty well here. We've already eliminated one of our fundamental archetypes. And so now what we're looking for is male or female, and job. And then once we've got that done, I think we'll be ready to make an arrest. Walter Brown has been murdered at the church. He got done in during mass. I guess you could say that it was a mass killing. Oh my god. Let's go ahead and search the entire church. We found a bottle of rum, yo ho ho. Nothing in the pews. And $6. So right now, let's go ahead and do a status check. We've got 1 lockpick, 3 bullets, 23 cash, 12 days left. Not feeling hungry or anything like that. We've got casual attire, sunglasses, mob ID, and a bottle of rum. Most of the clues from here on out are not going to be that useful. What we're looking for is like a leather glove. We're looking for anything that's going to indicate what the job of the perpetrator might be. So a knife, you know, anything that's going to lead us in the proper direction so that we're not wasting our time here. We also would like to know if they're male or female. That would help out tremendously. Well, since the murder's already been done, let's go ahead and head on out to a place where people might be gathered. I'm thinking hitting the slums is always a great place to go, so the slums, the most dangerous part of town. We make our way on over. Flammable contents, a good source of heat. Paul Baker has been added to the suspects. He has a history of trouble, according to Doris Hall. The rat has nothing to say. If he did, I'd be really kind of worried about the course of our adventure, or that somebody had possibly dosed me. Harold Robinson is added to our suspects, because Lois Walker seems to think that we should talk with him first. Let's go ahead and search the bed. We find nothing, but it is home for some unfortunate soul. We'll search the little picnic table that somebody's erected up here. Nothing there. We'll also check the bathroom. Nothing as of right now. We're going to use the lockpick to get into the other side of the slums. And let's talk to this gent. Kenneth Hall says everyone I know seems to be scared to leave their house nowadays. Joseph Miller says to keep our eyes on Mildred Wilson. Elizabeth Moore says it has to be Charles Lewis, no doubt in my mind. And then Mildred Wilson says it has to be Edward Williams, no doubt on her mind, so we're just passing the buck left and right here. That buck is getting passed all around this circle. It always, like, whenever I use that phrase, it makes me picture somebody just, like, passing a deer around. They're just like, alright, it's your turn, here's the deer, and they just pass it to each other. Paul Moore has been added. Rumor has it Paul Moore has been up to shady business. Okay, good to know. Is there anything in this pile right here? Hey, get out of the way, you mobster bastard. So if I was to shoot these guys right here, they would totally shoot back at me. I'm just letting you know. So we're not going to be firing any shots right now. It's pretty rare that combat comes into the game. I mean, you have the ability to engage in combat, but it's usually like if you get caught stealing or something like that, you want to use your gun. But we haven't stolen anything, so it's typically pretty good. Let's go, or at least we're typically in a pretty good situation. We have a bottle of rum, which indicates that there's a poet or a chef that we're dealing with. So we have a mobster who's a poet or a chef. Who do we have right now? We have Paul Baker and Edward Williams. Edward Williams is an artist, and Paul Baker is a poet. So right now, my money is on Paul Baker, but he's all we got. I mean, we could find a clue in just a minute. We could find female fingerprints, which would totally blow our investigation out of the water. But as for right now, if I had to make a choice, we'd be going with Paul Baker. Betty Hall's been murdered. Okay. We've got a crime scene at the mechanic shop. Let's go for it. $15 found on the wall. Hopefully the mechanic doesn't miss it. Chutney says, bark, bark. It's Chutney, our favorite crime-fighting dog friend. A bullet casing. Ah, okay. I've never found that clue before. A lockpick. And $11. So we're actually coming into the money, right? How much money do we have? $60. In like 1910, $60 was a ton of money. That's enough to buy, like, a building. Anyways, let's get back on out of here. I think we are hungry, so it may pay for us to go on down to the diner. Well, it's not going to pay us to go to the diner, but it'll get us fed. And at the bare minimum, sometimes that's all you can ask for. We found a silver ring. Arthur Williams says he's a little busy at the moment. We're going to buy a pot roast platter so that we can feel full. And we're going to search the till because nobody's watching. A little quieter seating back here in the corner, but nothing right now that's looking indicative of what we're looking for. I don't know what the silver ring means. I've never actually seen that. Kenneth Hall has been murdered. Okay. I guess that takes him off the list. Wasn't he on our list somewhere? He wasn't. Paul Baker's probably our guy, I think, but we're going to take a look at everything else. So the silver ring, everything's pointing at mobster right now. We could really use male or female fingerprints if we really 100% wanted to isolate this right this second. We've got plenty of days left, though, so I think we'll be all right. We've got 8 days, $45. All right. So with Kenneth Hall being murdered at the diner, we're not going to head over there because we just searched it. I think we'll go to... Let's go to the speakeasy for now. Elizabeth Moore says, who did it? Harold Robinson. We all know by now. Selling a cannoli for $5. It's a great deal. Yeah, especially if you're the one selling it. $7 found on a table. We just stole some poor waitress's tip, but feeling less than guilty about it because we've got a murder to solve. Things are going on in this town. Ruth Clark has been added to the suspects. Definitely the one you want to look for. $7 found on a table. There's a safe upstairs where we can get a bunch of money if we wanted to. Untitled by DG. This painting looks familiar. Gene Smith says everyone's counting on you, detective. Almost half these bullets are illegal. We can steal from the safe, but I think that'll make the mobsters go hostile to me. I don't know. Let's find out. Okay. And so the mobsters are now angry. You can see those little pistols above their head. That means they're going to shoot when I go down here. Alright, we managed to... Well, we kind of shot our way out of here. I mean, there's still one more guy with a gun, which could be problematic. I'm trying to bait the shot right now. Please don't shoot at me. Oh, God. Well, this might not work out. Our case files might be over. But I really wanted that $61. Oh, God, we've been shot. Who was the culprit? Was it that guy? It was Paul Baker. We had the culprit. We had him nailed. We had him dead bang. We were just waiting for the best evidence we could possibly get. Ah, well, we got ourselves murdered. We got ourselves murdered over $61. Isn't that a hood tale? Alright, well, that was Noir Syndrome, case number 2. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here this evening for another tale of mystery and intrigue. I look forward to seeing you all in case files number 3.